What is up, spooky season strangers? Yes. Welcome to another special episode of The Strange Sessions, because we didn't wait our usual 2-week time to release this one, because it's part 2 of last week's episode. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode about the fascinating history of St. Nazianz and JFK Prep, go listen to it, come back, we'll wait.
Yeah, come on.
We're going to just sit here and wait.
Yeah, right now.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Thanks for listening. But we wanted to split this into 2 parts to do it justice, because this is a really important topic to us, you know. And I didn't want to be rushed trying to get through and trying to. I know everybody says our episodes could be 4 hours long and they would still be super happy, but I like to keep it around the 2-hour mark.
Exhausted.
My students that saw it are like, "Why are they so long?" And one of my students was listening, and she's like, "The first 20 minutes was you guys talking about stuff." And
oh,
I'm like,
by the way, if you don't want to listen to that,
yeah.
Before we forget, if you don't want to sit through this first titillating 20, although I don't think we'll have as much to talk about today, because we covered it last week.
We do have a taste test.
We have a taste test.
Well, it was a long week.
It was a long week.
Yeah, we're back. We
just hit pause, check the show notes. The timestamp of the actual topic star will be posted there.
Yes.
So carry on.
What was I saying now? I totally don't remember.
Your student was saying, well, the first 20 minutes.
She was like, I was listening, and like the first 10 minutes was about cheese curds. And I'm like, sometimes we don't start talking about...
We're from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
cheese curds are important.
We don't start talking about the actual topic until 20 minutes in, sometimes 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But I have no shout-outs because...
We're at least consistently inconsistent.
Yes. I have no shout-outs right now because
already.
We're still...
Part 2.
Yeah, this is part 2, so we've never left.
Should we just jump into the taste test?
Mark and I have been here all week.
Let's banter a little bit.
We got to banter.
What banter? What do we have to banter about? Anything? Anything to banter about? The weather, which has been crazy.
It's beautiful and sunny right now.
80 degrees.
It's like 50s and sunny. It's like perfect burr weather.
It is.
Go to your pumpkin patch.
It's kind of
depressing.
Put on your
sweater. Oh, I love this time.
Oh, I hate
so
fall.
much.
I'm looking forward to this
You
afternoon.
hate fall?
I hate
Mark?
fall. Spring is my favorite.
I'm not sure we can be friends.
I'm not a fan
Everything's
of spring.
going hibernating now, dying.
Spring is so sloppy.
I'm not a fan of spring. I think just because of
everything so long to
geocaching, when we
wake
go
up.
out and geocache in spring, it's just everything's a
I don't like
swamp.
summer that much.
Oh,
Summer.
it's
like
just
the
got
worst.
too crazy summer.
I read that one
hot.
meme that said, "Does anybody really like summer? We were just conditioned to like it because that's when we had vacation."
Well, it
from
used to
school."
be like
True.
75, a nice...
I don't remember it being
comfortable
nice
day.
I
when I was
remember,
a kid.
I
And
don't
not the
remember
humidity.
I
The
don't remember
humidity
every
was
day
never
being
this bad.
95 degrees and humid. I don't
Global
remember
warming.
every
This summer,
day.
actually, this summer, I thought this summer wasn't that bad. We had some humid days, but not as bad as some of our past summers. And
I'm so
only
bad
speak
at
from
summer because
experience,
I'm like, this
'cause
summer
I'm
I'm
stuck
gonna-
in the school buildings.
I'm going to keep walking
air
every day to
conditioning.
stay in shape for school. I'm going to shave all my hair off to see how it looks bald before school starts. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, I see it really helped you.
I was
Well-
going to say, when you say you walk every day, look at you.
It sucks.
Oh, goodness.
It
I wish
sucks
you guys could
because
see Curdy
this
Kurt right
year,
now.
I can't wear a cap at school because
Yep.
that's the rule. So
Yes.
the students, it's funny because I wore a cap Thursday because it was hat day at school. So like 6th graders said I looked weird wearing a cap because they're not used to it.
Oh,
Other
funny.
7th and 8th graders aren't used to me without a cap. Like
Yeah.
I get so many bald comments.
Yeah, you're bald.
I am. And they're like, why are
You're
you
not
bald?
bald.
I'm
No.
bald.
You're balding.
Well, this is a mess.
Thinning?
There's a difference.
But yeah, like summer, I just wanted to do so much stuff, and then I'm like sitting and watching TV.
Well, it's kind of like winter. You're still, when it's that hot, you're still stuck inside.
Well, winter,
with the
I
air
like
conditioning
winter. I'm
on
cool
there.
being inside. Like I like
Hibernating.
I like knowing I can't go outside anyway because it's too
There's
cold
an
and
excuse
snowing.
to
You
not
don't
go
feel guilty.
outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't feel as guilty. It's like, it's a really nice day. You should be outside doing something.
No,
but-
I don't feel guilty, but I got plans I want to do this winter, like go through all my stuff in my storage unit, which I probably won't do.
I was going to say,
Well, ever
okay.
since I got Discovery Plus, there is so much on there. It's just insane.
good.
When are you going to listen to me? I was on you for years to
Talk-
to apply for the school
At
district.
least she's not yelling at
I've
me
been
right now.
on you for
Talk to Aaron about because
quite a while
Aaron's
about
the same way
joining,
because
getting the Discovery
yeah,
Plus.
like Aaron always tells me something that I need to do this, and then 2 years later I'll be like, "Yeah, this is awesome. I should have done
Right.
this long
Well, I'm
ago."
glad I'm not the only friend you
You're not
do
the
that
only
to.
friend.
You
so,
got to make
Aaron,
it seem
I
like
feel
it's
for
his
you, dude.
idea,
Totally.
then he'll do it.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know this was going to turn
You know
into
what
a
you should
Kurt
do?
intervention.
Intervention.
Yes.
yes.
Group.
Oh, we're
You know
doing a
what you should
roast
do this,
now.
You know what you should do this winter
What?
when you're bored on the weekend? You should clean out your storage unit.
I should.
You have a
Thank you for
storage
it.
unit?
Yeah, and I got so much stuff in there that I need. One of my students loves
Oh my gosh.
Walking Dead, so I want to give them some Walking Dead stuff I have that is just sitting in my storage unit. That's my chair.
I was like, what is that?
That was my chair.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
there's
get
noises
caught on the
coming from
audio.
Kurt.
It's
No,
gonna
that
sound
was-
like
that
a
was
man
my chair.
moaning in the background.
That was my chair. I did have McDonald's this morning. I had Burger King actually. Because some people wanted to be picked up late, so I got so
We didn't want to be picked up at
Rhonda
5:30 in the
is
morning
Right?
or whatever.
No kidding. I refuse to get up earlier on a weekend than I do during the school week.
I'm glad you perked up though, because you were yawning pretty hardcore on the way down here. I'm like, we'll just have to poke you with a stick every
I
time we want you to comment on something.
That's
on
like the
podcast, 'cause you'd be
person laying on the
the
side of
person
the
in
road.
Stoughton-
Dude, yes, that's
in
exactly
Stoughton.
where that came from.
We were on our way to
Poke
Stoughton.
him with a stick.
Yeah.
On our way to
I mean, that was the strangest
Elsings.
place to take a nap.
Right.
But
I don't
next season we got to go to see Vicky, and I want to have an interview with Vicky, and like I tell the students because
We're taking along, just so you know.
Absolutely.
The students love hearing about like the haunted stuff there. They love hearing all those stories. So I tell them
And
about
that
our
makes it very
investigations
sad to
there.
think that there's nothing in there now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, can we contact the new
Maybe
owners
we
and
buy
see if
that.
Because
we
we
can go
looked
in?
it up, right? And it's this.
I don't know if it's something right now or not. I thought she did say somebody bought the building from
You know,
her.
it's funny when Jim and I were on our little vacation, we were actually relatively close to
You should
Stoughton.
have like passed through.
I know. I thought about it.
At least went to the coffee cup, which is still there.
I know.
By the way.
coffee
Do you want the,
cup.
what was that, the monster or something?
Garbage
Garbage,
omelet.
garbage omelet.
Yeah, like I tell them the stories about Aaron with the monitor unplugging. Like we need to have a whole episode about Stoughton,
Elsings.
about Elsing's
Yes.
secondhand shop.
We didn't.
No, we've never had a whole episode about. We've talked about it constantly. We've played
Some good
EVPs from there.
experiences
Yeah, it was an
there.
interesting
But
place.
I tell the students, I said that we were there at least a dozen times.
At least, yeah.
And every time we were there, something happened. Every single time we were there.
And we slept there.
And we slept there.
Couple
And I slept in the
times.
basement by
Crazy
myself.
nights, yeah.
When Aaron was here, we kind of talked
I use
about
air
it a little
quotes
bit.
because I never slept.
Right.
Yeah,
I
something-
laid
Yes.
on the
You had
ground in the
some-
sleeping
you had something
bag.
demonic breathing in your
Oh
ear.
my
I think
gosh.
Krista and Rhonda went to the bathroom together, didn't they?
Yeah, you guys were like attached by the yeah.
At least an air freshener didn't go off and scare the bejesus out of us like it did at
At the theater. That was at the theater.
Screamed
we
so
jumped into
loud.
each other's arms that time too. Oh,
Was there anything at the
times.
theater? I don't remember.
Yeah,
a
I,
lot.
well, I got
yeah.
that weird EVP
Singing
with like the
EVP.
singing voice in the background. Then we did
There's
see
some
a shadow. We did see a
voices.
shadow upstairs.
There's a voice of what sounds like a child when there's a door closing. You can hear the door squeaking, and then we caught the voice of a child talking.
You know, we'll get into this with this episode, but what floors me is like in the morning now I go at 6 a.m. and I do EVP sessions in the auditorium at school because I'm convinced it's haunted. So I'm sitting on the stage in the dark with my recorder being like, is anybody in here? But like listening to it played back.
It'd be funny if a janitor was like, yeah.
What the hell are you doing in here?
That happened to me when I worked at Lincoln High School as a custodian in a field house, and I left the boys' gym locker room. It was only a couple minutes, and I came back in, and every door that didn't have a lock on it was wide open.
You were like freaked out.
That freaked me out.
That's creepy.
I mean, and it was so fast.
There's nobody, like weren't kids in the
No, and it was within minutes.
locker room.
That's
I think
really
it's
weird.
a given that any school is haunted
Just
because
the
of the energy. But-
It's such a volatile time in people's lives. Your hormones are changing.
Oh,
There's so
yeah.
much drama.
Bad home
Yeah.
life or
Yeah.
whatever.
When I'm going through my audio from the auditorium.
Have you ever gotten anything?
Not yet, but it floors me how clear my recorder is. Like these recorders, like the EVPs you're going to hear today from 2005.
Oh, they're terrible.
There's so much like background
white noise.
static and
Yeah.
white noise
Yeah.
and hiss.
Old
Yeah.
equipment.
And now it's like clear, like it's clear. Like I hear every stomach gurgle from me, like every
So
little stomach gurgle.
you invested in a new recorder, or are you
No,
recording
I
on your
bought
phone?
a new recorder last summer.
Okay.
From Amazon. It was like $40. It's a Sony, and it's because I wanted one that did MP3s
Yeah.
and had the pop out, like the
USB
switchblade
thing.
USB thing that I just pop it in my computer.
Nice.
But it's just like dead silence. And I think when we listen to these today, it's not dead silence. There's so much background like hiss. And I hate the
Scratchiness.
fact that we weren't like really good at being like we did do our best to say that was so and so yawning.
Right.
So almost all the EVPs you're going to hear today, you almost have to take with a grain of salt. The like the nothing one that we're going to play that Mark got, I still think is one of the best EVPs I ever heard, because I also remember hearing somebody else's recorder of that same time, and there's no sound there.
There's no EVP.
No, but
Yeah.
I don't know where that clip is. But a bunch of the ones we're going to play later, we've never played before. Some of them, some of them are super quiet. So this episode, you're probably going to want headphones. For the
call.
EVPs, you are going to want headphones. We're going to say, I'm getting way ahead of myself.
And
but we're
are
gonna-
these raw?
Yeah, we just
You haven't-
transitioned in the episode somehow.
Huh?
I said we just transitioned
We did
into
transition
the
into the
topic. we
episode
do have a taste
somehow.
test to do.
We do have a taste test too, but you're going to want headphones when you play. We have like 20 EVP or sound clips we're going to play.
They're always better through headphones.
Yeah, and you're
always.
going to probably hear I think some of them we can hear when you play them. They're all everything except like the 2-minute long segment is looped in the phone, the Christmas phone thing, or looped 3 times. So you're going to hear them 3 times. But we will jump into our taste test. This was given to us by David Bond, who sent us a bunch of stuff. I still have some stuff at home, and he said,
What did he send us last time that was actually
"Oh, it
pretty
was that
good?
Russian soft
the
drink
Russian
that
soft
tasted like
drink.
Guinness, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
flat Guinness."
It was
beer.
actually pretty good.
It was actually really good.
Oh.
He said we've talked about these on the show, and I don't remember ever having
Okay.
them. This
David, I
shouldn't
hope
be-
you're being kind.
He is. This shouldn't be as bad as the chicken candy from the last episode. It is plantain chips.
Oh, I love
a week
plantain
later, I'm
chips.
still
Nice.
tasting
It is
chicken.
garlic plantain
Yum.
chips.
I
Like-
love plantains.
Oh, breath
Plantain
will smell
chips.
like garlic chicken.
Yeah. It will. So do you want to do the honors
Yeah, let me
of
take a
opening?
picture.
Okay, send it to Krista. It's so nice not
Pass
having.
it on down.
We don't need the pizza peel this time.
We don't need.
because-
Somebody asked me what a
Well, I
pizza
just
peel
didn't
was, and I'm like,
What?
it was Carly in Australia.
Oh,
said, "What's a
okay,
pizza
that
peel?"
makes sense.
Well, I didn't know
It's
what
a-
it was until you.
It's
What is it?
It's
It's the
basically
pizza.
like a pizza pan on a long
Wooden
pole
handle.
that you put it in and out of the oven.
that we could
have
use when
one
we were sitting here to use to pass each
To
other
pass.
stuff
Oh.
across the table.
because we're
The
so
wooden-
far away.
Yeah, so this is from David Bond. He sent us a bunch of stuff.
Goya.
Goya
Brand.
plantain chips, garlic.
Okay.
To me, I feel like they should taste like banana chips.
Yep. They will.
But
Plantains
garlic, you
aren't
shouldn't
bananas,
have garlic
but
banana chips.
So is this the bad one or the
no,
good
this,
one?
it'll
this is the only
be-
one we got.
Oh,
for
the
this.
only one. Okay.
oh, they smell really good. I'm going to take a few. I think they could be really
Garlicky.
I think they'll be sweet, savory, sweet kind of thing. Because plantains,
Such a
I
good
think, are
word,
kinda-
savory.
I thought you were gonna say garlicky. Garlicky boom boom
Garlicky.
down.
Sure.
They don't really smell garlicky.
They smell like plantains to me. If you've ever had banana
never-
chips or plantain chips.
Here we
My
go.
mouth is watering. I'm anticipating these. They're going to be very, very crunchy.
I'm intrigued.
Oh,
You ready?
I'm
Ready.
ready.
Okay. Oh,
Wow, they're pretty hard.
they are crunchy.
They're
I took a big
crunchy.
bite.
They're
They're
very
garlicky.
They're very garlicky. It's good.
So much better than
It tastes like
chicken
a
candy.
so much better.
I
than chicken
honestly
candy.
don't taste much.
It tastes like a. To me, it tastes like a really garlicky onion and garlic Old Dutch potato chip.
That's sat out in
You
the
don't get
sun
much
for
of the
about-
plantain.
No, you get a heck of a lot of garlic.
What's a plantain?
It
Like
looks
small
like a banana, but it's not a banana.
These are really good.
I should say small.
And they're always sliced and fried.
Oh.
I don't think plantains have a lot of flavor to begin with. But that's just me.
I'm assuming it's healthier than a potato
These
chip.
are all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give these a 9 out of 10. I
wouldn't-
like this.
I wouldn't eat them if I had a toothache, Ted.
Don't forget to turn it back on. I'm good. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really
I'll take
liked it.
I'll take some more. Those are kind of yummy,
I'm mostly
Any-
just
any-
really hungry.
right? And anything garlic, you
almost
can't go
11.
wrong with garlic. Come on.
Yeah, I'm giving them a 9 myself too.
Is your microphone back
They're
on?
not overly
Is your
garlicky.
microphone back on?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not overly garlicky. They're just salty enough.
Yeah, like I would devour a whole bag of that.
Yeah, that's. I would say that's an
That's
8 or
actually-
a 9.
That's healthier than a potato chip. That's actually really good.
Is that only
This
sold
would be good with, like,
somewhere,
guacamole.
or what?
I don't like guacamole.
What?
I just don't. I don't like guacamole.
I love
Same thing with what's the other?
Like
what's the
like
other
health
dip?
food
Hummus?
section
Yeah,
of
I don't
the
like
I love
hummus.
hummus.
I don't like hummus. I don't like guacamole.
I know.
I
don't
like
think-
Dean's French onion dip. I will.
We can't be friends with these men anymore.
I know.
One
like-
doesn't like fall.
Still remember you ordering
The French onion soup. No, I love French, like the Dean's French onion dip. I'll get the big container of that, and I'll get a
Well,
small
that
bag
stuff
of
is
chips,
good.
and I will just.
I like my beer dip that I make. That's
Beer dip is good too.
Without any beer.
without any beer.
Festival.
He's
has
transitioned
good
from
dip.
beer to
Festival grocery store has good dip.
Their whole deli section is like, I don't know. It's like a wonderland of.
It is
Food.
really good, isn't it?
Okay, we're gonna have to take a break and go to breakfast.
Can you drive to the coffee cup?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, let's drive to Stoughton, go to a coffee cup.
So how is real quick? How is Vicky doing? I haven't
Good.
talked to her
I
for-
did message her asking her if we could come and like interview her for the podcast stuff, and she said yeah, but I
She's
thought it
down.
was gonna be this year, but
Really good.
now it'll be spring.
health wise. Her and what's the husband's name?
Phil.
again?
Vicky
Phil.
and Phil.
I was thinking
They
Keith
still doing
for some
karaoke?
reason.
I
That's what I
hope
always
so.
think of.
Katie's.
I hope so, but I really want us to go there and do an episode. I would love to be able to get back into the building, of course, but
Yeah, I would love that too.
Maybe she could get us the new owner's information.
contact information. But yeah, next season we are going to be doing that. Should we jump into this?
Let's
Yes.
jump
Do
in.
it.
Let's
So
do
today
it.
we're talking about our investigations at JFK Prep. We were one of the very few groups that were actually allowed to do investigations there with the owner's permission. There's a website called themagicalbuffet.com that's like a new age stuff, and they have Matt's report of our final report posted there, and I think that's where a lot of people stumble across it.
Okay.
Our old ECWPI page is still active, and that's got the report on it, but it does not. None of these have links that work to the EVPs that I think we talk about, or that they talk about in the actual report. So I just want to jump into this. Like, one of the first things I want to talk about is the legend that a student killed themselves or a nun killed themselves at the school. That's like one of the big legends about the place, is that either a student or a nun who was impregnated by a priest killed themselves at the school. And for the longest time, we thought that was just a rumor, but in the actual report, Matt says, quote, "There's one urban legend about a student who hung herself from the basketball hoop in the gym after being beaten and molested by a nun. There really was a girl who hung herself on campus, but it didn't happen in the gym, and it had nothing to do with a nun or beating. I know this for a fact because I was emailed by the girl's old roommate. I was given her name, a little bit about her, and why she did it. I've since received emails from other people who went to school at Prep, including another one of her friends who was able to confirm it, the room she did it in, and even shared her suicide note with me."
Wow.
So, yeah, like,
Sad.
that's sad. Like, Matt actually got to see that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't.
And
because
what
that's-
brings you to that point?
That's
you know?
that's
Right.
rough. She had been over to the girl's house and was able to tell me what her family was like and who they were out of respect for the student and her family. I won't post what building she did it in or what her reason was, which I totally agree with. So at least one student did kill themselves on the campus. And I remember we knew it was verified that night. The second time we did an investigation, or the second night when I wasn't there, that they were in the building and they heard running footsteps and they were freaking out, and it was a cop. Because the cop thought they were breaking into the building.
Oh, no.
And they were actually
'Cause
doing
it
an
was so
investigation.
common.
And they
Yeah.
got to talking to the cop, and the cop said he was going to go back to the station and look to see if there was a suicide in the building. And the officer actually got back in touch with our group and said, yes, a student did kill
Wow.
herself there. So there was a suicide in the building. So that is actually true. That's one of the few things I think that are actually
Right.
true about the
And that's
building.
the only death that you know
That
of
we
on that
know of.
property with all that history.
that we know of for sure. You know, I mean, Father Oswald's body is still there on the property, obviously.
I suppose he died there
I think so. I'm assuming that he died on that property
on
too.
the property.
You know, another one of the legends is that people see him on horseback, like back by the wooded area.
Kind of like Fabian, or
Yeah, not like Fabio. You mean like
Fabio.
with the
Excuse
long,
me, Fabian.
the long blowing.
I was thinking Headless Horseman.
Yeah, but that's, so many urban legends about that
Yeah.
place. It's unreal. But it's interesting. I'm going to actually post the link to the Magical Buffet site in the group because it's interesting to read our actual ghost report, like where we were at different times. I'm not going to go too much into that here, but like the report starts off saying, investigators present on night 1, August 5th, 2005. That doesn't seem so long ago, but then when you think about it, that was
almost
a
20 years.
long time ago.
It is almost 20 years. Holy moly.
Yeah. Investigators present on night 1, August 5, 2005, Matt from Midwest Preternatural. I could never pronounce that word.
I think it's preternatural.
Preternatural Research. Katie, Keith, and Jody from Fox Valley Spirit Hunters. Kurt, Mark, Rhonda, and Barry from HPI. Yay, that's us. Michael from Kettle Moraine Paranormal, and Jason Drachman, who was like an independent investigator. You know, and I remember us driving to Madison to have like the meetup with everybody to plan that all out. There was
You drove to Madison to meet up to plan the investigation
Isn't
in
that the
St.
first-
Nazianz.
Was that the first time you met Barry?
It's funny.
No, you had met her before that.
I had met her at the walkthrough. That was the first time you guys met Barry. Love you, Barry.
Oh, we miss you, Bear.
Yeah,
kidding.
I think that was the first time you guys met Barry.
Okay.
But yeah, we drove because Katie was able to get a room somewhere there, and some of the investigators were like local to that area. But I remember I couldn't imagine doing that now. I'd be like, hell no.
Hell,
It's
I'm
just
not
odd to
driving
me
all
that the
way.
investigation took place
Sure, if you
here,
were with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
but you met
No.
somewhere
I know.
really
Yeah.
far away.
Yeah.
Kurt and I went that. Kurt and I went to that one.
There was also a whole second group that we collaborated with the first night, but they disappeared the second night and never got back to us or the owner with their findings. We don't know what
Weird.
happened, and we're sorry it didn't work out.
And they still haven't been found.
And they were never heard from
But I
again.
remember talking to some of them. Like, there was one really cool, like the guy that showed me the picture. Like, he showed me his picture that he took in the cemetery, and he showed me the picture, and he said, "What do you see in the cemetery?" And I said, obviously there's this tombstone with an angel statue on it. And then he showed me a picture from the same area, and there was no angel statue there. It was like the angel appeared in the picture. And I was like, is this edited? And he's like, no, I took that last weekend in this cemetery. And it was actually really cool. But I have no idea who that group was. The other time, I think this other investigation, when we were out there the second time, that was with SEWPR, Southeastern Wisconsin Paranormal Research. Because I remember, I'm still friends with Erica from the group on Facebook.
Yeah,
like, I
sure.
remember them, you know, and Matt and I actually went with them and investigated the Kenosha Opera House. They had us come along. But this first time, I don't remember anything about that other group that was out there. That all of a sudden, but that's like, it's like so.
I guess I'd forgotten about it, but now that you bring it up,
It's just like
oh,
so.
yeah, that's
It's so lousy to
yes.
never even get back to the owner.
Yes.
Never get back. Didn't come back the second night.
Yeah, it's lack of respect you
Yeah.
know,
Right.
all the way
Just
around.
kind of taking advantage of the
Yep.
situation for sure.
Investigators prison on night 2, August 6, 2005. Matt from Midwest Preternatural Research. Katie, Keith, and Jody from Fox Valley Spirit Hunters. Barry from HPI. She was the only one from HPI that came
Yeah.
back the second night. Michael from Kettle Moraine Paranormal, and Jason Drachman. Also present, client J and worker W. Jerry was like their client. He's the one that had us
Right.
come out there. I believe he passed away.
Did he
Really?
Yeah, I
really?
was looking up stuff on. I was like trying to track him down online, and I saw Jerry Slavic's obituary.
He really wanted to make that like a ghost
He did. Like,
attraction
he wanted,
place.
yeah, he wanted to make it like he wanted. I think because
A
he ultimately
destination
wanted money.
for
He ultimately
investigators?
wanted to get money to help.
Yeah.
He was
Restore
doing
it.
his best.
So-
Like, everybody that's out there has like good intentions for the
Yes.
place. They really do.
He'd be sitting there at the bonfire with them, you know.
Yeah, like everybody that goes out there has good intentions to get the place up and successful. And I love that they have the little campground with campers out
Yeah.
there now and stuff. But it's just like Jerry wanted the best for that place, you know. And they even, I think Jason, they talk about Jason kind of complaining how, or no, I think it was Matt, but just like about how, and it was the same thing with Starseed where we're trying to investigate, but we have like the owner constantly walking and seeing how we're doing, walking
Yeah.
in, and then
Yeah, he wanted to be really
Contaminating the
involved.
environment.
Yeah, but he also was super cool about coming with us to do an EVP session and stuff.
That was the nice thing about Vicky. She understood how to investigate.
Yes.
So she was always with you, but she didn't interfere with the investigation. She was an active
Well,
participant.
like I said, I will never to this day forget that time in the basement where she saw
a face.
a face just appear
was
in
when
the
you
middle
and I
of the
were
room.
there.
And you and I were there, but I didn't see it because I was laying on the floor because I had a
You had a
stomach
tummy
ache
ache.
from eating all her cookies. I ate so many cookies, I was laying on the floor miserable. So I didn't see the ghost face appear in the middle of the... She was freaking out. Like,
Yeah.
she freaked out because she saw it appear, and I'm laying on the floor like, oh, I ate too many cookies. No more cookies. So yeah, also present client J, worker W. There was a worker out there. Equipment used, like I love that. I like the Matt's report is solid. Like it really is. Equipment used: tri-field standard EMF meter, tri-field natural EMF meter, cell sensor EMF meter, digital cameras, digital voice recorders, dual infrared non-contact thermometer, air probe thermometer, Sony camcorder with night shot. So that was the equipment we had.
Back in the day.
Back in the
almost
day,
20
we didn't
years
have
much.
ago.
Well,
We
there
didn't-
wasn't a lot
there
of
wasn't,
that
You know,
fancy
we didn't
stuff
have
back then.
their
Spirit
fancy spirit
box.
boxes,
Ghost boxes
and
and
ovuluses
ovulus,
and
yeah.
didn't do no Estes method. You know, like none of that stuff.
I want to do
Krista,
all that
Krista
stuff.
I know.
We were
Ooh, I
talking
love
about
that.
that on
Time
the
we need to
drive. We
get out
talked
there.
about that on the drive down here, though. Actually,
Yeah.
was the Estes method.
Yes.
Yes.
Blaine said,
I
"I will." He's
going to
get me to do the Estes method. I will do the
I want
Estes
to try
method.
Well, I'd do
for
it.
sure, too.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it would be.
But you know, they asked me
Crazy
on his
experience.
podcast, like kind of like I said, what equipment? Like I believe.
What
in
did you
only,
talk about on his show?
Mostly. Tomorrow I'm going on Brian's again, and it's
Okay.
going to be the same about my apartment stuff
Oh,
about my
okay.
apartment.
Cool.
Like we talked about that, you know, because I have it all written down what happened there. But we talked a lot about that and a little bit about investigating. But I don't, you know, like the spirit box is cool, but having that weird Connect thing that like the Xbox add-on that shows, you've seen it, and where it shows like the
videos?
stick figure, like the
Oh.
stick figure of a
Yes.
person.
That's a little odd.
Like sometimes I don't believe in going overboard on tech. I just don't, because you're spending so much time.
But I also think that's not super reliable.
No.
It can map stuff that's not there because it's a glitch.
One thing that Blaine's group uses that I think is brilliant is light up cat ball toys.
Yeah.
That it'll roll and light up, so you know something's there. I think that's brilliant. You know, like I think that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we had like motion sensors and stuff at JFK
Should get the
Prep.
music box one.
Yeah. Yeah. The music
Oh,
box
yeah.
So yeah, and then the article or the report says background: the site is an abandoned Catholic school / church with 5 rundown buildings: the school, the old dorms, the church, the library, and the printing building, and 2 fixed up buildings, which are the new dorms and the Renaissance building where we set up our headquarters for the investigation. These were the only 2 buildings that had electricity. There's also a cemetery with priests and the crypt of Father Oswald, the founder of St. Nazianz, and an underground tunnel system. And I remember you and I,
That was
Mark
cool.
and I spent a lot of time in the
Very
tunnels.
cool.
Yeah. And then he writes, "Do not go there without permission. You'll be arrested and fined $5,000 for breaking and entering, not for trespassing, which is a much lesser offense."
Wow.
Which is true. Like, so many people broke in there.
Well, it's the damage they
Yeah.
did and
Yeah.
graffiti.
Yeah. And busting walls. And
I mean,
doing stuff
why
like
do that?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just, and I don't even think they could let people into school now because it's probably so
Unsafe.
dilapidated.
Yeah.
But
So it was the school. I remember being pretty dilapidated.
but
when we went.
it mentions, I think, in the report that the school was actually kind of really uneventful for everybody.
Yes.
It's like so much stuff happened in the
The old
other
dorm.
areas,
Yes.
like the dorms, where you know, we had stuff happen. The tunnels, we had the printing building, we had stuff happen. But the school itself, we didn't have a whole ton happen in there. One of the interesting things that happened, it was in the suitcase room, and I don't
Yes.
remember this.
I don't think you were in there with
I
us.
might not have been.
I know Barry and I
Was
were
this
in
one
there.
that with it opening? Because this
no,
is with
the
it
photo.
opening. Oh no, this is with it opening. The report says suitcase room. Michael's group, meanwhile, and again, I'm going to post this entire report on the website. You guys can read it. Michael's group, meanwhile, was investigating the old dorms. Michael said that he felt drawn to a room on the 4th floor that became known to us as the suitcase room. There are a pair of old suitcases laying on the floor in this room that someone must have discarded. One of the suitcases was all the way open. Due to weathering of the item, it couldn't be completely shut tight, so it was like warped and you couldn't shut it tight. Michael kicked it closed with his left foot. When he came back, it was reopened all the way and back to its original position.
It's 11:11.
Ooh,
It's 11:11 right now.
good job noticing that.
Is that one of your synchronicities?
Yes. He assumed someone else opened it, so he kicked it closed again and turned around. He was standing outside in front of the stairs, and when he turned around, it was open again. That's crazy. He said that's when he seriously started to question it. The first time, someone could have been messing with him, but the second time, no one had gone past him. Michael forcibly closed the suitcase. So you may think it was just returning to its natural state of being partially opened, but open all the way. Possibly, but it was only a couple of inches open in the first place, and it was also pretty decrepit. In our return visit, we were unsuccessful when we tried to get it to open like that again. After it opened the second time, Michael took out a pocket knife and cut away the liner a bit and checked it over for any electrical device and found nothing. But we did not get it on video, and upon further inspection, Michael says they didn't notice any temperature oddities or get any EMF readings. So we can't really present it as evidence. We can only give it as a personal experience.
I don't really like how he's messing with
I
stuff
did
on the
pocket
property.
knife,
I didn't like
that. I
him
don't like
going
that.
and tearing it with a pocket knife and opening it to check.
Right.
You know, Jerry, I don't think would have
Appreciated that.
hoaxed stuff for when we were out there.
No.
Appreciated it either, but yep.
Also on the first floor, also on the fourth floor across from the hall of the suitcase. Also on the fourth floor across the hall from the suitcase room is the alleged Satan room, and I remember the Satan room, where according to urban legend, the founder of St. Nazianz, Father Oswald, or just a regular priest, had an encounter with Satan, and then the room was boarded up to protect the students and faculty. The Satan room is a dud, no surprise. It's not boarded up, and we never experienced a thing in there. It's just a room. Father Oswald could not have had an encounter with Satan or anything in that room because the school was built 100 years after Father Oswald's time. If there's even any truth to the story, it had to just been a regular priest, and he could have just seen a regular ghost or residual energy, and the story got blown out of proportion. So I remember the Satan room like nothing ever happened in the Satan room.
So I wonder if because there were actual haunted houses there, right? Halloween, you go, you get in line, you pay to walk
Yeah.
through a haunted house. I wonder if some of these things were sort of embellished for the sake of drawing people to the haunted house. This is a truly haunted
That's actually a really good
location.
theory. They'll be
Yeah.
like, "This is the Satan room."
Yeah.
That they
Yeah,
just
Where
they
there's
made
an
it the
actual
they made it the Satan
haunted
room.
history, not just like people in costumes.
Yeah. And this is what I wanted to talk about too, because this is interesting. Where there's a lot of reports. It says in the report that there are reports of people feeling uneasy when they're on the property. I had just the opposite.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely opposite.
Like to this day, I have a vivid memory of us, Barry, like standing in the driveway area behind kind of the church, you know, where we used to park our cars and drive down there, of us standing out there talking, and the sun was beaming down, and we're all saying that it was actually a little weird at how drawn we felt to the
Yes.
place,
Yes.
how happy we felt.
It was peaceful.
We felt so content being on the property. We never had feelings of, it was the complete opposite
Never
of what you would think a
felt
haunted
threatened or
area. Like it
anything,
was
yeah.
more of a, we felt like it was drawing us to the property all the time, and not like in a bad way. It's just like we felt completely content and happy on the property.
Yeah,
like
and
strangely content and happy.
And I didn't experience it the same way you guys did, but I also feel the same. Like when I'm there, I'm like, I want to be here. I want.
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
wait to come
Yeah.
back here.
Right.
And my personal opinion is that it's because it's a very wholesome property. I think a lot of the spirits there are good energy from Father Oswald and other people being there. Like I have such a vivid memory of that. Just a specific moment of us standing in the driveway talking, the sun beaming down on us, and thinking, "This is amazing."
yeah.
You know, like
Totally.
we talked about how we all felt so drawn to the place, like we had to be there. And I realize that can sound demonic, possibly like something is luring us there,
Sure.
but it wasn't anything like that. So again, I'm going to post the report on the page and the actual, just the Facebook page, not the strangers, so people can read it and see the whole report. There's just not a ton there. It talks about who's in what area and that people are kind of upset because there's not a whole lot happening, you know. But one thing that we did get is some interesting photos. We're going to post these in the strangers and on the regular page too. There's the 3 that you have that are called Barry. There's
Okay.
Barry 1, Barry 2, Barry 3.
I just hiccuped, by the way. and
Oh.
That might sound weird.
If you
want
to open those up and look at those, you can. I mean, like, I don't remember these. This must have been a night that I wasn't there. Like,
Yeah.
in the first picture, the investigator sitting in these photos is Michael.
Okay.
The
I
inv-
even recognized him. I don't think I've ever met him,
The
but
investigator who took these photos was Barry. The others who were present were Matt, Katie, Keith, and Jason, who were all sitting in a circle. The owner, Jerry, was also present. We asked, quote, "If there's a presence in this room, show us a sign and we'll leave and won't bother you again." Soon after, Michael stated that he felt like an entity had come into the room. That's when these pictures were taken. "We've been in this room many times. We knew it extremely well. There are no reflective surfaces. Barry tried to recreate these pictures using her finger, but after many shots of her finger and the side of a chair, she still can't find anything she can use to dismiss these shots. The closest she can get is holding her finger a good 3 or 4 inches out in front of the camera lens, which is very tricky and awkward to do and not a natural position to snap pictures in. But even then, the base and sometimes the tip of her finger glows a pink/red and not a solid white. It is not a camera strap. Jason tried to manipulate the image to see if he could make out the ridges in her fingertip, but he was unsuccessful.
Yeah, this is so bright.
Yeah, this is not a pic. Barry. This is not Barry's shirt sleeve in front of the camera. We have pictures of her wearing a short sleeve T-shirt. Is this some kind of energy surrounding Michael? Possibly. Is it a dead person? That's a whole other debate. But it's a weird series of pictures.
I thought I was with him at that night. That night, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I just saw the photos after the fact. But if I'm not mistaken, that was in the suitcase room.
I think so.
And that is one of my most vivid memories of
Those
our
pictures?
investigation. Was that series of pictures? How this.
It's progressive.
Yes.
Like it's coming further into the.
I didn't include the last photo, but it's Michael sitting there and there's dust orbs. And it says, is this possibly whatever's in the picture exploding into individual orbs? But it's just, I think it's just dust orbs.
Orbs are.
But if this picture isn't somebody's finger or something else, then it's a
something.
good picture.
Yeah.
Especially like Michael claimed to be able to like sense stuff. And if he sensed something coming in, it's an interesting series
Did he say
of
anything
pictures.
like that?
Yeah, he said it said that soon after they said, if there's a presence in this room, show us a sign and we'll leave. Soon after, Michael stated that he sensed an entity had come into the room. That's when these pictures were taken.
That's interesting.
So that's interesting. Could it also be something psychokinetic where Michael was projecting this, thinking that's something possibly, but still it's paranormal still.
It is.
I find it interesting too, though, that being the suitcase room, his experience of
The
having
suitcase opening
and closing, and then
Yeah.
having shot these series of photographs then too, where you see this
So this is
energy,
yeah.
this light. Yeah.
Again, real investigations aren't destination fear levels of excitement. So these aren't that exciting, but they're still, we want to get out what evidence we did have so people can see it. So we thought this was interesting. The other one is my photo with red streak. This one was weird to me because I took a bunch of photos in that position, and on this one photo, I had that weird red streak, and I can't figure out what the heck that is. Like, she's got it up if you guys want to.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, like, I don't know what that is. That's the only photo I have that has that red streak.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say it's not some kind of anomaly just from the. So was this a digital camera?
Yes. Yeah, it was a digital camera. I don't remember. I think it was I don't think it was the suitcase room. I don't remember what room. But I had a bunch from that same location with nothing, and then this one turned up with this weird red streak. And I have no idea.
Did you have other pictures before and after this one where it wasn't there of the same?
Yes. Yeah. I don't have them on there, but I do have those pictures at home. It's the same shot.
It just showed up
the
in
red
one
streak
picture.
Isn't there. So I don't know how to describe
So that's
that.
always interesting to me. If you take the same photo over and over and over again, and something just shows up in one of them, well, then how can you explain that?
Well, like
as...
Destination Fear did in that one I just watched, where they're taking pictures down that hallway, and all of a sudden in that one picture, it looks like there's somebody looking around the corner.
Oh yeah, like they're upside down or something. Was that?
It was
Was
like
that
they
the
were like
asylum?
posed weird. Huh?
It was at the asylum.
He is still
Yes,
in
it
Destination.
was at the asylum. It was at
Are
this.
you in Destination Fear, or are you watching Project
He hasn't gotten to
Fear?
Project
I haven't gotten
Fear
to
yet.
Project Fear yet. I'm still just going through.
He has one more season to go, I think. Or no, two
more
seasons.
seasons to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do
I
one a
think you're
day. I'm not a
Well,
really
it's
good
the same
Project
thing.
Fear.
They talked about it. I think
That's true.
didn't they?
I'm not a good binger. I do like one episode. So I am not a real good binger.
Yeah, Rhonda.
I love binging.
Me too.
And the other
Must be
two
a
photos I
guy
have
girl
on
thing.
there are from Jody. And
That's interesting.
it's interesting. It's like an orb, but it's like a weird.
That's like
yeah.
another level kind of orb, though.
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah.
texture.
She's got them up. And she has
You
two.
can see the tree through it, but it has like interesting
It
texture.
does- it's not
I've never
like
seen an orb
No,
like
it's
that.
not like a usual orb you would see.
And where are all the other orbs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Usually
So
where
she-
there's one, there's like
Those
20
two are
more.
weird. So we're gonna post those.
That's
Those are what we
interesting.
got for photos.
That's really cool.
We've never had really good luck with photos on investigations.
No.
But I do really want to do what
Oh. That has like an orb in it. So the last one has like an orb in it too?
Yeah. Like a partial, like...
It almost reminds me of that other one because it has like this striation in it. And you can see that same striation like right here. It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird, but that's what we got.
It's almost like one thing.
No.
One thing that's traveling around the...
and I believe Jody got those because
campus.
Jody sent those to me. So it's that's what we got for pictures. I
Those are
really
cool.
want to do what Destination Fear does with the Polaroid camera. Like, I want to use a Polaroid camera on an investigation and not so much my phone or a digital
I feel
camera.
like we did when I first joined because I had a Polaroid camera.
I just don't remember us doing Polaroid cameras.
Because you know what, we've been totally taking pictures, selfies of you know
Damn,
we
ran out of the
Yeah.
things.
We even started an investigation and we're all out of
So
field.
that's what we got as far as evidence with photos.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's very
there
cool.
was never much.
There was never much. And the weird thing about JFK Prep is I feel like not much actually happened when we were there.
Not a lot of personal experiences,
No.
but you'd come back with a ton of EVPs.
Yeah,
kinda
we said
thing.
it was almost like the kind of the opposite of Vicky's, where we'd have tons of personal experiences, but not
Not
necessarily
a lot of
ton of EVPs.
Although we did come away with some good evidence from.
But
the
now we're
keys.
jumping into EVP. So this is where you guys are going to probably
Get
want
your
to get your
headphones on,
headphones,
your
because,
earbuds, whatever.
And I apologize that I did not edit these. Some of these are going to be really quiet, and some are going to blast your eardrums.
Oh, great! I
Yeah.
can always quickly adjust.
I don't
want
to edit it from what I have. I didn't want to edit the original file.
Okay.
I didn't want to make it long. I wanted this to be like what we had for.
And do you remember which ones are loud so we can warn people ahead of time?
I think maybe.
Okay.
Any-
well,
That's
yeah.
gonna,
I'll do my
not a
best
for sure.
I'll do my best.
that's a no.
So get your
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
get your headphones ready.
Here's the giggle that gave it away.
The report of our investigation there from Matt says EVP stands for electronic voice phenomena. In theory, it's the recording of ghost voices. You don't hear anything when you're recording, but then when you play back your recording, you do. When we record for EVP, we start by having everyone identify themselves into the recorder so we know what their voice sounds like. Then on our investigation, we talk at normal volume and don't whisper. If we hear another sound while recording, a stomach grumbling or a car going by, stomach grumbling is my specialty.
Oh, yeah.
We say, quote, that was a stomach into the recorder so we don't later mistake it for an EVP. And
Yep.
we were actually pretty good with that.
I remember being in the library, and I think we were like, doing a quiet EVP, and I think your
We play
stomach.
that. We play that. That's the last one we played today.
Okay,
That's the
awesome.
last one
Or
we
you
played
went for a
because
treat.
that's a classic. That's a classic.
Where it sounds like a demon.
Yeah, it
Yes,
sounds
and
like
everyone
a-
started freaking
You could hear
out.
Mark say that.
Oh.
Mark says demonic or sounded evil. As much as possible, we also record our EVP sessions with a video camera. So if we get something we can't identify, we look at the video to see what it is. We are also skeptical of EVP because sometimes your voice recorder can pick up radio transmissions. However, there will be some EVPs that we can't explain, like if we get an intelligent answer to a specific question. Please note, the files presented here may be filtered or converted to a format other than the original. If you are interested in having the original file, please contact Matt, and he will put you in touch with the recording investigator. We don't have contact with Matt anymore, so
So don't do that.
What I do have, like I said, I have so much. I have all the raw audio from the investigations there, and it sounds so bad. Like those recorders were so bad back in 2005, which you guys will hear. Okay, we're gonna play this first one. This one might be quiet, or average sounding, but again, get your headphones on. This one isn't technically an EVP, and I'm gonna talk about this after. I'm gonna talk about the reasoning for this after we play it. This is called Christmas Phone. This isn't technically an EVP. This was recorded by Kurt at JFK Prep in October 2005. I think that's actually supposed to be November 2005. An hour before this was recorded, a group of us, Katie, Keith, and Jody, were singing hymns in the church as an experiment to get a reaction. When they ran out of hymns, they started singing Christmas carols, although it was autumn. Then about an hour later, Kurt and Mark were camped out on the first floor of the old dorms, which lead into the church, when Kurt's cell phone began playing We Wish You a Merry Christmas. They didn't know about the other group singing Christmas carols until later. Kurt says he knows his phone inside and out, and We Wish You a Merry Christmas is not anywhere on it. He said the sound played at a much lower volume than his other ringtones and seemed to be not coming from the speaker, but actually from inside the phone somewhere. He said his phone is not very advanced, so there's no way someone could send him the sound without him knowing. It could have been a glitch or some kind of hidden Easter egg on the phone, but why would it play that song in October?
Yeah, so that was crazy.
You can play the Christmas phone EVP right now. It's only going to play once. It's not going to loop 3 times. It's like a minute long. So this is when my phone started randomly playing We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
What's that? Is that your phone?
What the hell?
What's it doing?
That's not my phone.
What are you doing with it? Say it recorded?
I don't know what the hell it is. I have nothing that would make that sound. What the hell is that?
It's your phone, dude.
It's never done that before. That's not even a song on here.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you said, it was coming from
the whole time you're like, that's not my phone.
It's coming from
That's
my
not
bag,
phone.
but I didn't have that song on my phone. So remember, we were freaked out by that.
Well, yeah, you gotta remember it's totally quiet. We're
Yeah, and
sitting
all of a
there
sudden-
in the
all of a sudden
dark
we're
or
hearing
whatever,
that
and all of a
bad
sudden,
electronic rendition of "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and Katie didn't even know this. Like I told Katie a couple weeks ago, "Hey, Katie," when we were messaging, that I found out like a year or two later. I was listening to this again for some reason, and I decided to like really dig into this online. And in that phone, there was an undocumented feature that when a certain error happened, it would play "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
What?
Yeah.
No
That's
way.
so bizarre.
Yeah, it was like a
Why?
hidden. It was
Yeah,
like
why?
a hidden Easter egg thing. It was like a hidden
Weird.
thing, but I only found it on one website that talked about the phone that said there was like something that when a certain error happened, it played "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
What an odd time for that to
But
happen.
that's the thing is that then I kind of blew it off as being. But when you couple that with the fact that Katie and Matt and those guys were singing Christmas carols
In another
the same
building.
time that my
Yeah.
phone started playing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
That's a
It's kind of weird.
synchronicity.
It is kind of weird. It is a synchronicity. So
Very cool.
But it's funny because I originally blew that off as being just something stupid, but now thinking about it, it kind of is significant.
so is it
that it started,
paranormal or not?
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I don't know because at the time I didn't know why it would have been playing that until I later found out that that was a thing with that phone, is that it would play "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" if a certain error happened. But why would it happen that moment when people are singing Christmas carols in another room?
Yeah.
So that's weird.
That was crazy.
The next EVP, I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time what these are called just because, or what we call them and what we hear. So this one was recorded on May 1st, 2005 by Katie during our initial walkthrough of the old school building. Katie and Barry had stopped to chat somewhere on the first floor, and this came through. What we hear in this clip is like a voice like whispering "burning Nazianz." It's remarkable because Nazianz is the name of the town where the school is located and has a history of major fires. So you're going to hear this weird voice come, like you're going to hear them talking in the background, but you hear this weird voice come in the...
Is it kind of whispery?
It's very whispery.
Mhm.
It's like it
I remember
whispers
that.
"burning Nazianz."
Yeah, they're not right together.
No.
There's like a pause in
but
there.
we hear it say "burning Nazianz," which is weird because St. Nazianz has the history of fires. This was actually during the walkthrough and not even the investigation. So here is our EVP that we believe says "burning Nazianz." Listen for the whisper.
3 days all at once. It'd be nice to do 3 days and see if
I don't
there's
think so less
that,
than 3 days.
You know.
3 different days.
3 days all at once. It'd be nice to do 3 days and see if
I don't
there's
think so less
that,
than 3 days.
You know.
3 different days.
3 days all at once. It'd be nice to do 3 days and see if
I don't
there's
think so less
that,
than 3 days.
You know.
3 different days.
That is so creepy.
It is creepy.
It's really
because,
clear.
But it sounds like when you think of what EVPs sound like.
That's
We have some
yeah,
later. Like
they're
there's
so
two
whispery.
kinds I think about. We have one later that we have some that are like that warbly, that weird warble sound to it, and I think of ones that are whispering like
Mm-hmm.
this one, and this one whispering "burning Nazianz.
But
It's
clear.
creepy
It was
and clear.
Very
It's clear. And Katie and Barry are in the background, kind of, and the recorder must have been sitting somewhere, and you can hear it sounds like someone whispering, burning Nazianz.
That's creepy.
The second one is also by Katie, and I think it's the same voice. Again, recorded May 1st, 2005 by Katie. Recorded after entering Father Oswald's crypt in the Salvatorian Cemetery just above the property. And this one's quicker, but you hear it sounds like it's saying burn the earth. You can hear something that sounds like it's saying burn the earth really quick. And it sounds to me kind of like the same voice. So here you go, burn the earth.
It's almost as good up here. It's almost as good up here. It's almost as good up here.
I feel like that one's a little harder to understand what
It
it's
is,
saying.
but it's got that
clearly
same
a voice.
whisper.
Yes.
It's got that same
like really
whispering
breathy.
quality. It's like a
Yes,
really
yes.
breathy voice. It's
like
like a
I can
breathy
hear
whisper.
burn the earth, but I think if you told me it said something else, that's what I would
100%.
hear. You
So
know what I
if
mean?
if you listeners hear something different than we hear, let us know.
Yeah.
because
It's definitely
it's stuck
something.
in my head as burn the earth.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can hear in it.
Well,
now.
there's definitely something
something
being
there.
said. Yeah.
But
Yes.
it's got that like Mark said, it's got that breathy whisper
Yeah.
like that last one.
So common for EVPs.
Yes.
So this next one is a little quieter. This one is called "What's Your Name?" This was recorded by Michael. He was asking the question, "What is your name?" And after he asks it, you hear what sounds like a very quietly whispered Charlie.
What is your name? Other way around. What is your name? Other way around. What is your name? Other way around.
Yeah, that one's more subtle, but
That
you
one's
can hear
very
it.
quiet, but you can
like,
hear like it's a direct response to what he's
Right
asking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's right there. This next one, this is one of Mark's. This one actually kind of makes me laugh. This was recorded by Mark in the Satan room. Mark asked the question, "Is anyone here?" After which you hear a whispered no, followed by a second no a few seconds later. So it's weird that whatever's there answered no. But
Which is basically a yes.
yeah, again, it's whispered. It's hard. It's quiet. But right after Mark asks, "Is anyone here?" you hear a whispered no, and then you hear no.
Is there anyone here? Is there anyone here? Is there anyone here?
Creepy.
Yeah, it almost sounds like whatever it is moving away from the recorder. It says no, and then you hear a fainter
It's like,
no.
no.
So even a ghost mess with me.
Mark was our EVP MVP out at JFK Prep because
Nice.
you got really good evidence. You seriously did. But I just think it's funny that is anyone here, and the ghost is saying no.
No.
Well, not physically.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
Yeah. But I don't, unless this is one of us making a noise, I don't know how to explain some of these, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we were good about saying, that was Kurt, that was Kurt, you know, that was Kurt's stomach.
Yep.
That was Kurt yawning.
That's Kurt.
That's Kurt, you know? So we
Blame
were
it
like,
on Kurt.
if somebody would have whispered something right after you asked that, one of us would have said something.
Yeah.
This next one, in this next clip, you can hear Barry, I think, it might have been Katie or Jody, I'm not sure, ask, "How many of you are there here?" After which you hear a very low voice whisper, 1 or 2.
How many of you are there here? How many of you are there here? How many of you are there here?
That sounds like Bear to me.
It does sound like Barry.
I could be wrong, but it
does
sounds like
sound
Barry.
But you can
Yeah,
hear
I
something
hear it.
there.
1 or
And
2.
with all of these, I just wish that we were more seasoned at the time to be better at saying that was Kurt whispering or, you know, like I'm always going to question whether or not that was somebody else that was there at the time making some weird noise.
And I also, something I wish we had done differently, and I wasn't here, but when we were investigating, we would just hit record on our recorders and let it go for hours.
Yeah.
And what we should be doing now is Let's record for 15 minutes. Let's listen back.
We
like
never,
so we can have a
never
conversation.
We
Yes.
never listen back right
And we
away. And I see
should
them do
be.
that on
Because
Destination Fever.
then you
It's
can
like,
do follow-up.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do follow. We never did.
You never knew that you caught anything until like days later.
No.
And it's like,
So
wow, that's a missed opportunity to interact.
If we investigate again, we
Yeah.
got to do a little better.
Think
with it.
positively when
we investigate again. This next one, I actually kind of like because it's funny. I tripped over something apparently, and you hear Rhonda say, "Kurt tripping again," and then she giggles.
I remember that. Was
Yeah.
that in the church?
It was in the library, I
Library?
think. Rhonda laughs, says, "Kurt tripping again," and then she giggles. And then there's a voice that shows up after that I don't think is any of us. So here's the clip.
Kurt tripping again. Kurt tripping again. Kurt tripping again.
Yeah, Kurt was just saying it's like a gruff male voice.
It's weird,
It's
yeah.
really long.
Yeah.
That would be cool to try to clear that one up or
Yeah,
amplify
and
it or something.
I didn't. I actually found when I was going through looking for all this stuff, I found I had an old software, little mini portable software program called Denoiser. That's really, really cool. That you put a EVP clip in, and it like eliminates so much of the noise. But I didn't edit any of these since then. I didn't really. I'm just posting them here so that these are out there in the public for people.
Is that something you could maybe do?
Oh, I could 100%
Like
do that.
before,
Before it's released?
Yeah.
No, I just want to leave it like this for now.
Okay.
And I'll maybe work on doing it tomorrow. I'll maybe try cleaning it tomorrow.
And like sharing that like after the fact. Because
But part of me feels like
to...
when I was going through and getting these, I was cleaning them. So that might already be cleaned. But there's a voice there that you can hear, like whispered, and it's like not just one word. It's like a sentence.
a whole long sentence.
And it's a voice that I don't recognize from any of us, and I don't know what that is.
It's probably making fun of Kurt.
Probably tripping because I was
There he goes.
tripping.
I tripped him again.
The next one was recorded by Matt. You can hear Matt asking, "Did you go to school here?" And he's in the locker room. After which there's like a noise like a pipe or water dripping or something. And right after that, there's a whisper that says something. It could be another investigator because I wasn't in there when Matt was checking this out. But I'm throwing it in there because we had it labeled as evidence.
Did you go to school here? Did you go to school here? Did you go to school here?
Yeah, I totally hear that.
There's something,
I can't
but
tell you what it's
I
saying.
don't know if it's another investigator because I wasn't in the room. But
Also,
Matt
can
was-
make weird noises.
Matt was very good about saying that was so and so, that
Yeah.
was so and so, that was so and so. So it's just weird that there's this whispery voice that shows up. So I'm throwing that one in there. This next one I think is another one that's kind of like really quiet, and it's definitely not a Class A EVP, but it was caught by Katie. One of the investigators in the clip says flash because we're somebody's taking a picture with their camera, and shortly after that there's a whisper that sounds like it's saying the name Joshua. I feel like you can hear something being whispered right at the beginning of the clip too, but after flash I hear it sounds like whispered Joshua.
Please let me take a picture of you. Flash. There's a bright. Okay, that's maybe flashlight. That's Katie's red flashlight. Please let me take a picture of you. Flash. There's a bright. Okay, that's maybe flashlight. That's Katie's red flashlight. Please let me take a picture of you. Flash. There's a bright. Okay, that's maybe flashlight. That's Katie's red flashlight.
Rhonda?
What I was gonna say is there's definitely a difference there's almost like an echoey
Yeah.
quality
For an
to like
EVP.
to like the human who's
That's
talking.
whispering. Oh yeah.
Like there's more, you can kind of hear the echo in that room of the question that's being asked, whereas like the EVP then is more that airy kind of, and you don't have that echo quality to the,
That's true.
so.
Well, and I was just saying, we're usually pretty good during investigations. You just don't whisper.
I was going to
Because it
say
can
that
be
But
too.
it's hard.
can
Like
be
you
s-
forget.
yeah.
Do
And
not
I
whisper
tend
on
to
an
talk to myself
investigation.
when I'm doing something, and I whisper sometimes during an investigation.
Well,
and
there's something to be said too about the fact that majority, of our investigations were in the evening and during the middle of the night, and
Yeah.
you're sitting in a pitch dark
Yeah.
room.
Your inclination is to talk quietly.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
But a whisper can actually travel, I think.
it can too.
Farther
It
than
can, and you
almost,
might
know.
not realize that your recorder
Yeah.
can pick up.
Right.
Yeah.
You might be like,
They're
I just
incredibly
whispered something.
sensitive.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's
better to
amazing what
talk
your
normal
recorder will
level.
pick up.
Yep.
But with that specific clip, though, I found it, interesting how whoever was asking the question had that echoey kind of like from whatever room they were in, that there was that echo quality to their voice versus
The
the
whisper was
response
just
was
flat.
very,
Yeah.
yes, very airy and
Yeah. Like,
airy and light.
like I feel like EVPs tend to sound similar, and it has that airy,
That
it has
airy
that
kind of
whispery
light,
quality.
yes.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So we've all made this kind of promise to one another that whenever we pass on, that we come back and visit one another, that we're going to leave one another very
Evidence.
clear,
Yeah.
crisp EVPs for them. So
Yeah, they're gonna be all class A's.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that weird, creepy, jerky walk around, and I'll just leave really breathy whispers.
fabulous.
This next one was recorded by me. It's labeled unknown voice. Right at the beginning of the clip, there's like a warbly voice that wasn't any of us. And I think I know which one this is, but I'll know it better when you play it.
Do you mind us asking these questions? Do you mind us asking these questions? Do you mind us asking these questions?
That's weird. I'm just thinking that's someone in the room, but it doesn't sound like English.
I don't know what that is. It doesn't sound like any of the people that were with us. Like it was just, and it's got this weird warbly, breathy
it is kinda
quality to it.
warbly.
And I don't know. I'm not saying that's 100% an EVP. It could have been someone in the room with us, but I don't know who that is.
I
and
can't even say what word it was.
No, it sounded to me like two men. Like it was saying the word two men or demon or something like that. But I can't. But it sounds like it's laughing a little bit. I don't know. I have a hard time with this one. I don't know what it is, but it's in my evidence folder on my computer.
Yeah.
So
And that was Katie, one of Katie's.
this was recorded by me.
That was yours.
Yeah, that was me. So I don't know what that voice is.
Okay.
This next one was recorded by Michael at JFK Prep in August 2005 on the 4th floor of the old dorms. Matt and Michael were the only ones in the building at the time. Everybody else and the owner were in the Renaissance building packing up and getting ready to go home, but Matt and Michael wanted to check out the suitcase room one last time. In the clip, Michael says, "School is officially dismissed for you. Thank you." Then in the background, you hear a strange noise that was not heard at the time, and over that, you hear Matt say, "It's really pissed at you." Matt said that because the air felt heavy, though he says they could have just been scaring themselves. The two knocks you hear at the end are just Michael. What they think it's saying is after Michael says that, we think we hear a voice whisper, "Go away, go away, go away."
And school is officially dismissed for you. Thank you. That's me. She gets really pissed at me. I can go in person. And school is officially dismissed for you. Thank you. That's me. She gets really pissed at me. I can go in person. And school is officially dismissed for you. Thank you. That's me. She gets really pissed at me. I can go in person.
It's like it almost gets. It sounds pissed. Actually,
Yeah, because I hear "go
It gets
away,
louder
go away,
and
go away,"
louder.
then it goes.
That was a good one, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And those two were the
I'm not
only
sure if I
ones
remember
there.
that
And-
Again, the suitcase room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was Matt and Michael wanted to check out the suitcase room one last time, so the suitcase room might have had something in it. This wasn't the same time. I don't think this was the same investigation where it opened, though, but there might be something to the suitcase room there. This next one is also caught by Michael. It's called No Retribution. This was recorded by Michael at JFK Prep in August while the owner was showing us an underground tunnel connecting the Renaissance building to the basement under the church. Michael says, hello. Then at 5 seconds, you hear 2 words that we can't identify as any of us, and it's not something we'd be likely to say. Everything after those 2 words is us talking. The others present were Barry, Jason, Matt, and the owner. So you hear what sounds... He had it labeled No Retribution and Scream. But I don't think the second noise I hear later in the clip is a scream. It almost sounds like a mechanical noise. It could have been a camera. But you hear what sounds like a voice whisper, no retribution. That's what Michael claims. I don't know what I think, but here is the clip.
Hello. Did you guys have a recess or vacation or something? You guys left me a hand. Hello. Did you guys have a recess or vacation or something? You guys left me a hand. Hello. Did you guys have a recess or vacation or something? You guys left me a hand.
What? So one thing I find about EVPs is often they happen when you're talking.
Yeah.
And so that makes it really hard. So the second thing that comes in, that could be like a, or like,
or a camera.
Or a
like
camera.
you said, it could be a camera. I don't
because
think it's
everybody's
a scream.
talking.
I don't think it's a scream, but I can't place what that noise is.
No, it's odd.
Or some people can hear different things.
Well, yeah, they said down there it was Michael, Barry, Jason, Matt, and the owner. So there were a lot of people there
talking.
But I don't know.
I hear the no retribution or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yep.
And I feel like there's something just a little bit more that is being said before someone else starts talking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that one's interesting. So these next three.
Oh, I love these.
These ones are weird.
They're very weird, but I love them.
This is, I don't know. This is interesting to me. So I think later towards the end of all the EVPs, we still have some more to go. I'm going to play the entire 2-minute clip. But there was a moment where we were in the basement and I think we were getting up and moving somewhere else. And in that 2-minute clip, there's a ton of what I can't identify voices like that show up. Like, I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is. But some of them are like weird that sound like EVPs. So these next 3 are actually taken from that 2-minute clip that we're going to play later towards the end of this. So the first one, these are all recorded by me. The first one is in the basement, and you hear, it sounds like somebody whispering the word searching. So here it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it sounds
I've
female.
always thought it was male, but it has that weird warbly searching. It has that weird warbly quality.
Well, and it's funny. It's not the EVP that's warbly. It's the audio itself gets
like
warbly during the EVP.
I would agree with you, Krista.
That's so strange.
But
that's the same with that
Definitely
other voice.
it
was like the audio itself got a little distorted when that voice came through.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So that's from that 2-minute section. This next one is one of my favorites, but it's very hard to hear because it's like a whisper. It's this one I love, but it's very hard to hear. But what I'm hearing, I don't remember if there's talking in the background or if there's silence. But
I thought it was quiet because you were by yourself.
What I'm hearing is a voice, and what I'm hearing I hear it whisper. I have. And then there's a pause, and then it says blood. The BL is very pronounced. It says, I have blood on my jeans.
And then
there's a little pause, and then it says, hate my jeans. But when it says hate my jeans,
like
it's
you.
weird.
Does it sound like you a little bit?
No.
No?
But when it's weird because
That'd
it's
be creepy.
it's weird because it starts off one way, but then as the hate my jeans goes, it gets progressively angrier to
Yeah.
almost like a hiss.
That's what I remember the most is the jeans.
Yeah. So I hear I have blood on my jeans. Hate my jeans, and then it gets like hiss, like mad. So
he really hates
this one,
his jeans.
yeah, this one is just weird. I don't
bloody.
know. So here is the clip.
Yesterday, energy system and hospital to the signature. Money, please. Yesterday, energy system and hospital to the signature. Money, please. Yesterday, energy system and hospital to the signature. Money, please.
That's super creepy.
And again, that one is weird because it's very difficult to hear.
Yeah, because there's someone talking.
Because there's someone talking, but when it gets to the end and it says what I think is
always
hate my
frustrating.
jeans, it sounds like it gets
Hate
progressively
my
like
jeans.
angrier, like
Yeah.
hiss, like so. I love that one. And
I
this,
don't really hear the blood part.
the blood part. I can hear from like when I was over here. It just says it's just blood. I mean, you can hear it. It's really quick. But they hate my jeans. I don't even know if that's what it's saying, but that's what
That's
I
what
hear
it
it
sounds
saying.
kind of
But
like.
it sounds like an EVP because it's got that distant warbly sound, and it's especially the hate my jeans where at the end it gets like mad, like angry. And the next one is also from that 2-minute segment, and this one I love because I think we were getting up and leaving, and Rhonda was seriously like afraid that we were going to leave her somewhere. And in this one, you hear a voice say, "Don't leave Rhonda."
Well, remember, it was my very first
It
investigation.
was your very first
guys.
investigation. But in this one, you hear a
so
voice.
it's creepy when something knows your name
Yeah,
now.
you hear what sounds like somebody say, "Don't leave Rhonda," just like that, and it's weird. So here you go.
That in your ears tonight.
Don't leave Rhonda.
Rhonda's joking about whispering that into Mark's ears. That's actually like I love that. That's super clear to me.
Yeah, and it's weird that if it does know your name, it is weird.
Looking out for me.
The ghost cared about you.
That was very sweet.
The next one I've played on here, this was actually not from the investigation. It's when I was out there helping Jerry clean one Sunday. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and Jerry had left to go back to the Renaissance building, the main building, to get a ladder. So I was the only one in the building I think it was in the dorms. I was the only one in the building at the time, and you can hear me like tossing wood somewhere, and you're going to hear a voice say what sounds like a female voice say Kurt with like a weird accent. And I was the only one in the building, so I have no idea who this is.
It almost has an electronic, not electronic,
yeah,
but like
you
metallic
said, it has an echo to it.
sound.
But what would I was the only one there. What would it
Yeah,
be,
that's
Jerry?
I almost hear like a wood floor creaking.
The wood floor creaking is me throwing wood on the because I'm picking up wood and putting it in the corner of the room. So I don't know what that would be because
No,
Jerry
I hear
was
Kurt.
yeah.
It's like really clear.
Jerry was
And
back
female
at Jerry
voice.
was going to
Yeah,
Jerry was
definitely.
he had
Definitely
left and
female.
gone to the other building to get the ladder so we could do something like near the ceiling. I don't remember pull something off the wall, but I don't know what this was. I was the only it was just me and Jerry on the property and nobody else was in the building but me. So
And the best to your recollection, you do not remember hearing that
No.
with your ears.
no.
'Cause that definitely would have caught your
That would
attention. Because
definitely-
Yeah,
that was
they
definitely
said
because
loud
I
name.
probably would have exited the building shortly after I heard that. So I did
After
not hear that.
pooping your pants.
And like I said, it was a Sunday morning. It was a nice Sunday morning, and it's just weird to me that this showed up.
Yeah.
So the next one was during an investigation. I think this is the one you were referring to earlier, where I'm outside. I think I'm walking with Mark. I'm outside, and you can hear me say, "It's cool having those guys out here." And then right after that, you hear what sounds like my voice say in a really warbly way,
Okay.
I'm so sorry, like almost sobbing.
Yeah. I knew there was one that almost sounded like you.
Yeah, and it wasn't me. And I don't know, it sounds like I'm like sad saying, I'm so sorry. And I didn't say that. So I don't know what this is, but we're walking outside at the time.
It's cool having those guys out. I'm so sorry. It's cool having those guys out. I'm so sorry. It's cool having those guys out. I'm so sorry.
It's weird because it even kind of happens in between you taking breaths.
Yeah,
like
but
you
it's
were
not
saying
like I would
something.
not. I wasn't saying anything.
It's
It
really
totally
clear
sounds like
too.
you,
Very
too.
clear.
Sounds
It
like
does.
they're
It very
upset.
well could be
That's
me making like
creepy.
some weird sound out of breath, but
Saying something under
it
your
sounds
breath.
like sad. Like it's really sad. You
It does
know?
sound like I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So
like really
I don't,
quick.
I don't know what that is.
Weird.
And this next one is another one of my favorites. It was recorded by me. It's where we're walking through the hallway. I can't remember if it was the school or the dorms, but I'm listening in the background. You hear what sounds like people screaming and yelping and like
crazy.
they're being beaten with straps.
I
Like
think
hear-
this is the one that struck me the most when I heard it. I was like, that is wild.
Yeah, because we're just walking down the hallway talking, and in the background,
There's nobody else
I have it
there?
labeled. I have it called beating and screaming because it sounds,
So it
like,
sounds like-
people in the background being beaten, and a couple times you hear like cries, like people are being beaten and screaming, and I don't know. Again, this is a
And it was just the two of you in the...
no. I think it was like a couple of us walking
Okay.
through, but it's a crappy recorder, so the sound quality is horrible. But listen to the background. You're gonna hear. I hear beating and screaming. So here you go.
I'm looking into the scene. I'll be taking a picture. You please appear in front of it in 1, 2, 3. I'm looking into the scene. I'll be taking a picture. You please appear in front of it in 1, 2, 3. I'm looking into the scene. I'll be taking a picture. You please appear in front of it in 1, 2, 3.
That's crazy because the more you listen to it, I'm glad you have it in here 3 times. It's hard to pick
more
up
you
the
li-
first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
But then you hear that voice of what sounds like a small child.
There's one point where I hear the female voice like cry out the word "why." Like when they're being beaten, I hear it cry out the word "why." But there's that one
It's
point where
throughout.
there's a one point where there's a smack, and then there's a very clear what sounds like a female
yeah.
cry, like they're being beaten.
But then if you really listen, you can hear that voice throughout the whole clip
Yeah.
coming in and out.
Yeah,
And there's no history of...
not
Not
that I
that we're
know of,
aware
but
It also could be the sound of children playing.
yeah,
We're assuming that it's the sound of beating and
It's the sound of
screaming.
beating and screaming.
But kids are loud when they play. Maybe it was
Yeah.
just, energy from one of the kids that was there. I don't know.
But there is also history of school, parochial schools.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
You know,
there
like
was.
nuns.
Yeah, maybe there was.
I remember
Corporal
my mom-
punishment.
my
Smacking you
mom-
with the ruler?
yeah.
Her,
Yeah.
Yes, aunts went to parochial, and I've heard stories of how your knuckles would get. So who knows?
Yeah. I didn't
that-
experience that in my Catholic school, but maybe times
No,
have
but
changed.
it's just-
Oh yeah, I think by the time
yeah.
It's weird because it's not just like one crack in a.
No, it's like
No,
ongoing.
it's like a bunch of them, and I don't know how to explain that. The next one it's gonna be loud, but this is our best EVP caught by Mark. So it's going to be loud. But you guys have heard, if you've listened to the podcast before, you've heard this one. This was recorded by Mark at JFK Prep in August 2005 in the basement under the church. The voice that says, "What should we do with this place?" belongs to the owner who was just there to check up. Then you hear Barry repeat, "What should we do with this place? What should we do with the place?" The others present were Kurt, Mark, Rhonda, and 2 other investigators from another group. None of them remember hearing what you hear next. If someone had said this as a prank, someone would have made note of it and said that was so-and-so. If it was someone clearing their throat, it's pretty creepy sounding, and we think someone would have had to ask, "What was that?" And someone would have said that was so-and-so clearing their throat. Because we asked Jerry to ask a question to the spirits, and then he says, "What should I do with this place?" And then Barry repeats it, after which you hear a demonic voice say nothing. And it's going to be loud, so be prepared. Here we go.
What should we do with this place? 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 What should we do with this place?
Yeah, Mark was just saying that sounded demonic. That
It
totally
does.
sounds like this
and you
deep,
hear
gravelly
the
male
nothing
voice.
like a little bit before it. You hear it louder. You hear it quiet, and then louder, like it's almost trying to gather the energy to say it.
It's very strong.
It's very clear. It's clearly the word
Equally as
nothing.
loud as your voices
Yeah.
or their voices.
Yeah. So that is
like
Mark. That's our
creepy.
best EVP
To
that
this
we've
day,
taught on
I
an
can
investigation.
listen to that EVP over and
It
over.
always
and
gives
that
you the
one's-
shivers.
Yes,
Yeah, that
still.
one. That is our best EVP that we've ever
direct
got on an
answer
investigation.
to the
a
question you are
question.
asking.
Yeah.
It's like an
Yeah.
A plus.
Yeah,
A
that
plus
is-
plus.
that is A plus
EVP.
class EVP.
Right.
So
No
we
kidding.
love that one. The next one is the entire 2-minute clip where I cut those other 3 out of. So this one I just hear a lot of different things in, and I know some of you guys are really into EVP, so you guys might tell us something you hear in here. So here it isn't played 3 times. It's only played once, but it's the entire 2-minute clip where I got those other EVPs, and I feel like there's just a lot going on in this clip that I can't identify. So here you go.
Do you want to keep your recorder running then, and we'll just kind of do some active investigation while you take it? Is that all right?
That's fine. I just want to swap tapes here. Let's switch to side. Right. And this side. 11, 10. Huh? Thanks. And then we'll leave your camera down here so you don't mind. Just right down.
We'll leave it down.
Right down.
That's part of it. Huh?
60 minutes. See my camera right over here.
Last.
Yes, for the energy tube and the talk about the picture.
Mine. Please.
Flash.
Flash.
Who's left take the picture?
Oh, that's your time. One.
Well, that's a long stretch of one clip that has a lot of stuff
There's
going on.
there's a lot of whispering in there that I can't identify. The 3 the searching, the blood on my jeans, and the don't leave Rhonda is all in there.
But there's other miscellaneous whispering I hear.
I heard a lot of little whispering, and you
Right
can
at the
hear,
end,
like
there was
you
something.
can hear us like talking. None of us are really whispering to each other because we're talking because I think
Right.
we were packing up and getting ready to go, and it was almost like everything wanted to just come out all at once.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah, let us know if you guys hear stuff in there we don't hear.
Well,
like
and I know that.
Sorry, I'm yawning. That's going to come across weird. On that. I feel like I'm an
It's not an
investigation.
EVP.
I
It's
have to
not an
call stuff
EVP.
out. People do message me and be like, I think I got an EVP
Oh, that's
on your
funny.
It's like,
podcast.
wow.
Within our group of investigators, you could even hear like one of us, kind of even more of a lowered kind of hushed voice, and it still had that earthy
that you
kind
could,
of
human
more
being
human,
talking.
But you
solid
can hear us, like,
sound to it versus
like
those
we're all
other.
talking. None of us
yes.
are whispering to each other. You can hear us talking to each
Right.
other, but there's all these whispers that
Yes.
show up throughout
Yeah.
it. So I just thought that was a really interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to end with the infamous last one where
yeah.
we were sitting in the library, I think.
Yes.
All of us in an EVP circle when my stomach growled and scared the heck out of pretty much everybody in the room.
And you got to remember, we're sitting in
In
total
the dark, trying to hear
totally
sounds,
quiet.
listening for sounds when my stomach
And
growled.
you're all on edge because
Yeah,
you're
because
waiting
you're
for
waiting
something,
to hear
right?
something.
Right, and then there's
And
this.
This is a classic. So here you go, Kurt's evil stomach.
That's my stomach.
Lord.
Classic Kurt.
That is classic.
Oh, funny.
So
Leave it to
good.
Kurt to lighten the mood.
And it was like my stomach waited till the perfect time.
Yes.
Where everybody is quiet waiting. I bet if
It's
the
a
cameras
gift.
were on, I bet you everybody's eyes got super
Yeah.
wide when that
Exactly.
happened.
They just made
it is a
contact
gift.
with
I
Satan.
love the good
It
Lord.
is a gift.
Good stuff.
So I want to read I want to read Matt's final analysis from the report because I actually really like it. So that's what I have for EVPs. Hopefully you guys like
That's
them.
so
Some of
good.
you guys probably have never even heard these. Like I don't think Krista has heard a majority of these.
No, I heard most
don't
of these.
remember
Did you?
her.
Yeah, there were a couple I hadn't heard, but I
Yeah.
heard most of them.
So the final analysis from our report, Matt writes, there aren't ghosts and white sheets rattling chains at JFK Prep, but based on our findings, I think something is going on there. But it's also exaggerated. About 90% of the time we were there, nothing happened. And a lot of the stories are nonsense, like the town being cursed and Father Oswald being evil. I don't believe the place is evil or demonic or that there's anything dangerous there. Most of the time, it just felt really peaceful. I think there's a lot of imagination and psychology involved. I think if you go into a big spooky place like this, shivering with fear and anticipating being possessed by evil spirits, in your head, you're going to get an attachment and be followed home. The couple of people I've met who claimed they were followed around by something while they were out there are all people who were quivering with fear before they even set foot on the grounds. I think it's in your head. Go in with a level head and nothing can hurt you. Also, a lot of stories about JFK Prep that you can find on the internet were written by teenagers and young kids who were trespassing, and I wouldn't give them much credibility because they were, after all, just after a cheap thrill. So that's Matt's final.
That was really
That's
good.
really
Yeah,
good,
it's very
actually.
And here are some comments about JFK Prep. And this first one, Risen, we referenced last episode. Risen writes, have been there a few times. He gets cryptic here at the end, and I know kind of what he's talking about, but I don't know. I need to research this. He says, have been there a few times since it was abandoned and made into a thrift store. There is clearly something going on there, I'd wager, besides ghosts and thrifting. The staff seem a little too edgy and protective. The couple who purchased it came from Door County, if I remember correctly. Then he puts in parentheses, Door County, where farmers contaminate the land with arsenic, supposedly to protect the fruit crops. I avoid Door County produce. You probably should too. The couple also operated a small
Disclaimer.
Yeah, the couple also operated a small church in Manitowoc near Holy Family Hospital a few years ago. Not sure if they still do. In my book, Christianity and Poverty Don't Share an Inheritance with Anyone Wealthy Enough to Buy JFK Prep. But who am I to judge? I avoid it to keep my name off the hit list. I heard it was abandoned due to
This person's paranoid and
I
is
heard it
into
was abandoned
conspiracy
due to
theories.
asbestos, probably a good reason not to snoop around. However, JFK Prep is awe-inspiring, very spooky and beautiful and sad. It feels like a gothy romance novel. It would be an amazing place for a wedding, which I totally kind of agree.
That's true.
Oh,
Ooh, maybe
without
we
a
can
doubt.
And then he
Brittany and
writes the
Justin to change
statements
their
about
venue.
the statement about the new graves of foreign priests. Where better to hide your treasure? Unless you can get the mob of ants to come down from their hill and bury it for you in the quarries. Cookie butter, anyone?
What in the world?
It's referring to the anthill mob,
Yeah.
which I think is a motorcycle
Yeah.
gang.
Get 'em.
Yeah.
The
But
two
they also
rivers.
do a ton of good
Like, yeah.
things. So
benefits,
I don't know what
charity.
that's about.
He's got to be in the conspiracy
he's
Yeah,
got
this
some,
guy
uh,
is paranoid.
Small
So then-
church by Holy Family. Is that where we got married?
No, I don't know.
A little community church.
I didn't know what church that. I was trying to figure out what church
The
that
only-
was too.
The only little church that I can think of is the one where Mark and I got married on Walmer.
Well, Holy Family is run by the Franciscan.
Yes.
Yeah, that also did Silver
Silver
Lake
Lake, yep.
College. Okay, and now this is somebody that works there. This person writes, those of us that live on this property now owned and operated by United Ministries are not edgy. This is our home. The ministry has owned this property for over 15 years and have done renovations to some of the buildings. Renovations take money, and the only thing that makes us edgy are those that continue to break in. Again, it's private property in our home and cause destruction in a variety of ways, starting fires, setting off fire extinguishers in the thrift shop, etc. These are buildings that are off limits for a reason. They are not safe. They're falling apart and are full of asbestos. We run a Christian thrift store and food pantry here on the property, helping many people in the community. We hold free children's camps, men's retreats, women's retreats, and so much more. The property also has a 5-acre community garden, again, that some people apparently feel it's okay to cause damage to. I personally have lived here for 9 years with the ministry. We welcome people to visit the ground during the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., but please understand buildings are closed off for safety reasons. Sorry to be a downer, but as Christians, the Holy Spirit abides with us.
Yeah, that's why they're edgy people.
Because people are constantly breaking in.
Absolutely.
They're not
and
hiding
I'm sure
anything.
there's people that go into the thrift store to try to sneak into the rest of the building.
Sure.
too.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's been going on since before they owned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's why they're edgy, because if you have a couple teenagers in there, they're either going to steal something. I'm not making,
Come on, now you're stereotyping.
I'm not stereotyping. but
Nowadays,
chances
you don't
are-
know
no,
what
now-
someone's going to do.
Who do you think is breaking in there?
Teenage-
Grown-ass
yeah,
adults?
teenagers.
Sorry, I just swore.
That's
Exactly.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah. Somebody else comments, after it closed down and the new owner, Jerry, bought it, I lived there as a small child. My parents owed Jerry a lot of money, and he let them make it up by my stepfather and brother helping him fix the place up. I was terrified. Some horrible things happened in that place. Sleeping in the dorms wasn't a thing, as I didn't sleep. I was too scared, and that place still invades my dreams.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody else writes, I was born and raised in St. Nazianz, got out in 1976. This is the first I've heard of it being haunted or cursed. Went through JFK Prep after it shut down many times and couldn't count how often me and childhood friends were in Oswald's mausoleum. Never got a haunted vibe. It's sad that the prep is falling apart. It would be a beautiful campus if maintained.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Somebody else writes, I taught there and was there when the school was closed. I lived above the laundry room. My first year in the basement, my second year. Yes, some strange things did happen, but these were good spirits. Somebody else writes, several years ago, my friends and I just drove there and parked outside to look at the beautiful buildings, but I'm sensitive and have never been there. No punctuation. Several years ago, some of my friends and I just drove
Young
there.
kids.
Yeah. It's like some of our assignments that I get to see. Several years ago, some of my friends and I just drove there and parked outside to look at the beautiful buildings. I'm a sensitive and I've never been there, but as my friend's mom that was driving down the road and I started to get a terrible headache, and shortly after that, everyone else came down with the same thing. I heard so many stories about the place, and you have to take everything people say with some skepticism, but whatever the true story is, what I sensed just being parked outside the roads was not positive energy. I wish I could go back and walk the grounds. And this I love.
Don't agree with them.
This I think is so cool. I was a student at JFK Prep. Is it possible to set up a tour? I loved running in the morning and ending in the pine forest. There must have been running trails on that woods back there. So I bet it was beautiful when JFK Prep was like a school.
Yeah,
like people running on the trails and stuff.
Well, imagine in the fall with the leaves. Wow.
It's interesting how we kind of poo-poo on people who have felt a negative energy there. But I also think of, what is your intention when you're there? And whatever's there is probably reacting to what your intention is.
Yeah.
So I could see
Very
that,
true.
like that one that you got that was nothing. It was like, what should we do with this place? And it's like, this is our place. Leave it alone.
Right.
Don't do anything. So if anybody was trespassing, breaking in there and had a negative experience, they had it coming because they were invading someone's space with poor intentions. You guys were not there with poor intentions.
And we always try to be respectful.
Yeah. I could imagine people having negative experience, but it's because they were drawing that.
Yeah, because they were there to
Very
cause
true.
mischief.
Yeah.
Yep. Another person writes, a couple weeks ago, my wife, 2 sisters, and I drove up from Chicago. We first visited Witches Road, about 2 hours west. We heard about the 2 places after searching Google for haunted places. After debunking Witches Road and finding out the truth from the current landowner, yes, it's a hoax. We thought for sure, so was St. Nazianz. We arrived kind of later than planned. It was dark already. After walking around the grounds, me and my younger sister decided to go in. My wife and older sister refused to go in. No, it's not the same. It's not like wife and older sister. It's like his wife and their older sister.
No, how did they get in?
I think they meant on the property.
Okay.
We planned to stay in there for a while. I wasn't scared going in at all. I'm a father of 4 children, ranging in ages from 1 to 14 years old. I'm from Chicago and don't scare easily, but we only lasted 10 minutes. Something happened in there I'm choosing to keep to myself. Let's just say we were having fun, so we didn't scare ourselves. Everything was fine until that one moment we knew this was real. Maybe they did break into the building.
Yeah.
Because
Because they say in there. They keep saying in there.
Yeah, maybe they did go in there.
Like...
Somebody else writes, I used to party out there. We would sneak in at night and find our way through the school and work our way through to the top of the building. There wasn't a single building out there that wasn't falling apart inside or out. The school at night, lit by our flashlights, looked like something you would see in a post-apocalyptic, that's easy for me to say, a post-apocalyptic movie. There were still books and papers laying all over the classrooms. Creepiest thing about it, there were, because I remember when we were there.
Yeah.
Creepiest thing about it was a friend borrowed a book and took 2 small statues from the site. A couple days later,
bad idea.
days later, he and some friends got into a horrible car accident where 2 friends of ours were killed. Coincidence maybe, but still creepy to think that maybe a curse had fallen upon him. Somebody else writes, all very interesting. I went to school there in 1970 to 1974. Was a little creepy for a city boy, perfect setting for scary stories. We used to venture up to Oswald's tomb with new students at the beginning of the year to scare them and have fun. I never saw anything, although some of the women at the girls' dorm made some claims that I don't remember. It was a great place to go to high school, though, and I have many fond memories and met some great people and families there. Somebody else writes, we spent a lot of time out there at night in our late teens and early 20s. This was before vandals desecrated the place. Freaking idiots. It was, and I'm still sure it's very beautiful grounds. I have very real and truthful stories about that place and things we have all seen and heard. My stories are verified by others who were along at the time. One of them has something to do with the inside of the tomb in the graveyard on a full moon on a fall night. No joke. This place will make your hair stand up on the back of your neck at night and make you weak in the knees. I believe it's possessed. One thing I've always thought strange about that old graveyard is there are priests buried there from all over the world. I'm sure it's some kind of explanation for this, but it seemed like freshly dug graves, and if I remember right, fairly recent deaths. This was in the mid-90s. Yeah, people are still buried. Like Salvatorian priests still do get buried out there. Somebody else writes, I was a student there, a 7-day student. I have been there a few... I don't know what that means.
7 days?
Yeah, so they were out there all the time. I was a student there.
I thought they only lasted
like they
7 days.
That's how I took it too. They got expelled.
I think that's what they mean. I was a student there, a 7-day student. I have been there on a few weekends, the only girl in the girls' dorm, the top floor of the classroom building. The spirits there are good. If the prep is haunted, it's only by good spirits. After all, Father Melvin is buried there. So everybody loved Father Melvin. And then lastly, somebody else writes, the things I have seen, I will never venture back into that property at night. I will never go there alone again. So there you go. What do you think? JFK Prep?
Such a mixed bag of experiences. Again, I think it's how were you there?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yes.
Did you have permission to be there? And if you didn't, you were probably going to have a negative experience.
I think a big thing too with investigating and whatever is you got to control your imagination.
Yes.
Don't let it run wild.
So wow, it's 12:30.
I know.
So what do you think?
Easier said than done.
We'll end this. JFK
Yes,
Prep,
haunted.
haunted or not?
I say yes, it's haunted,
Haunted,
even though
but-
I've never experienced anything.
I say it's haunted,
Not
but it's
bad.
not.
Because I trust you guys.
It's not what people make it out to
It's
be.
not
No.
evil.
It's haunted the same way that the school I work at is haunted, or the school you work at might be haunted.
I could understand things there being protective and
Yeah.
people having a negative experience and
Yeah.
just deciding it's evil.
Yeah.
But
It was amazing. I loved being out there. I was so comfortable out there. I never really got creeped out there. We got enough EVP evidence to say that I think it's haunted.
Oh, I think so.
But I think it's haunted in a way that hospitals,
Yeah.
schools are haunted. It's not.
it seemed like a lot of people loved being there.
Yeah.
And so I think I could see people returning there or energy around that
Yeah,
still
100%.
being
Never
think
threatening or
No. So I do think it's haunted, but not
Yeah.
in the way that other people around the state apparently think it's haunted. I love the place. I still love going there to this day. I'm so thankful we got to do an investigation there.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I got.
absolutely.
I'm sad
we'll
I
do-
missed that bus.
I know. I'm
I
sad you missed
know.
it too.
I know, I wish
And
we
we'll do
could
our
get
quick
opportunity.
question sent in by Brad. We love you, Brad.
We love you, Brad.
He writes, "Hey Kurt, thought of a question for your listener question segment. And that's why I wanted you guys here, because you guys have a good answer for this. If you were to put together a paranormal / ghost hunting team without any restrictions, what type of experts would you want on your team? In other words, what skill sets would be important to you in trying to conduct research? And of course, why would you pick each expert for your team? I recently heard someone argue that a stage magician would be good to have in a paranormal research team, as they would be someone who could spot hoaxes more easily, which I found interesting. So I, of course, wanted to know what you two thought of make the perfect team. Thank you, and keep kicking butt, Brad.
Does that imply that someone on your own team is hoaxing evidence, though?
No, that the
Or,
owner
like,
the owner might be hoaxing.
Might be
Where a
hoaxing.
stage magician might know how they're making.
Or they heard a sound and you find out what.
Like there's the room at the escape rooms. Like one of the rooms has a window in the corner that they can do something to make like something appear in the window.
Yeah.
Where somebody could easily do that. So having like a stage magician.
Yeah.
I think having a psychologist along would be good.
I'm always intrigued by the idea of someone with
Yes.
a
Law
law
enforcement.
enforcement background
Yes.
who is used to really picking situations apart and looking
Yes.
at them
And
in
is-
a really logical way.
And is more skeptical.
I
Yeah.
think your big goal is you want to debunk as much
Yeah.
as you
So
can.
having like
Yeah.
a law enforcement
A
officer.
bona fide scientist.
A bona fide scientist,
Someone
an
who
audio
understands-
expert,
yeah,
a
audio
photo
expert.
expert that could look and listen to your stuff.
A sensitive.
A
Someone
sensitive.
who is
Yeah.
Truly
I like
a
a psychic, but
sensitive.
someone that I would
Someone
trust.
Exactly. Someone that I know.
You trust.
That I know beyond a shadow of a doubt truly is
Right.
psychic.
Well, you kind of want an equipment manager, or at least
And
Techie,
I would
yep,
love
someone who's
somebody
really good
along
with
that
technology.
somebody that knows nothing about where we're going, that knows nothing
Absolutely.
about the stuff that happened there, so they can't have preconceived notions
Yeah.
about what they're gonna.
Oh,
We'd have a
definitely.
super big ghost hunting group
Yeah, this
because
is
that's
like
a lot of people.
And Josh Gates. I
And
just feel
Josh
like we need a
Gates.
Josh
a
Gates.
researcher. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, all those, a researcher, like all those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. There's a lot.
I
Well,
feel like
you
we
can
all, to
combine that
some
a little.
degree, had to play those roles
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
not experts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stage magician, I could see.
Yeah.
To,
It's
to catch
interesting.
hoax,
That
hoaxes,
definitely
but
be
I like a
interesting.
psychologist too.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like
There's
audio specialist.
audio
or
specialist, camera
Yeah.
specialist,
Well, that's
video
audio
specialist.
visual
technology.
Yeah.
You see somebody you can cover a lot with someone who's good
Maybe
at technology.
somebody
techie.
somebody
Cover that can
religious.
tech you,
Somebody
right.
religious would be helpful. to
Yeah,
have
oh,
along,
that,
like
I
a
like
priest.
that too. Yes.
So yeah,
Mhm.
there's a
Yeah.
lot.
I would love
like
to be able to help someone if it's bad haunting.
I actually talked about that with some students this week, and students are like, "Do you guys do cleansings?" And I'm like, "Why is it our
hell
place to
no.
move something along that might not necessarily?" And they agreed with that. They're like,
Yeah.
"Some things are there because they want to be there. Why are you kicking it in the butt out the door?"
Well, if it's your home though, and you don't feel safe,
Yeah,
I
if
think it's
it's-
okay to try to cleanse your home.
Yeah.
It's your home. But
yeah, but if it's not doing anything bad,
Well,
but
if
if it's
not,
if it's not, but I think people live in situations
Yeah.
that
where
they
it's
can't
bad enough
move.
that you want
Right,
somebody there
right.
that
They
can
can't
move along.
move.
Yes.
So this thing
Yeah.
that's not living anymore needs to move.
Right. Right.
So
Right. Right.
all those
I
people,
don't want to be responsible for that though.
I think
I don't know how either.
depending on the research you do on a location before you go, if it's has like if it's rich in like Native American culture, it might be wise to have like a shaman or something,
Yeah.
someone like that, along in the investigation too.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it just all
So
depends.
all of
Maybe like
those-
a religious. You got someone with
Theologist,
technology,
yeah.
someone, depending
Like
on
a
where
folklorist that would know
Yeah.
folklore about the area. All of those people, plus Josh Gates and Greg and Dana Newkirk, probably.
Yes, Greg and Dana
So we
Newkirk
gotta have
have to
them
be
along.
I don't know. I'd like
Someone
the crew
has to
from
bring the
Project
food,
Fear.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah, from Project Fear.
Project Fear. would
If
be awesome
anything
to hang
gets
with.
like dangerous, we need Tanner to like take over and scare it away.
He got really tough on that
He
one, didn't he?
does. He's
Yeah.
like the badass of the group.
Yeah. So no,
Protector.
that's a good question, Brad. That was actually a really
Yeah,
good
that was
question.
very good.
I
Very
hope we
good.
answered that in some way.
A little bit.
But we will get going so we can. How long is this?
Only an hour and 43 minutes.
That
so
still would have been over 3
it
hours.
would have been
long
over
of
a
an
3-hour
episode.
episode.
So breaking
Yeah.
it in 2 parts was good.
Part
So
1 and
quickly,
2.
I'm going to give you our deets. You can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. Forget Twitter. We are on Instagram at The Strange Sessions. You can send postcards and snail mail to The Strange Sessions, P.O. Box 434, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. You can call our lonely phone line at 920-443-9602.
Kurt may or may
And
not
you can
listen to it.
send listener stories to thestrangesessionsstories@gmail.com. We will be back next week when you listen to this with a brand new episode. Mark and Rhonda, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank
It's
you
been
Thanks for having us.
It's been
We need to get the team back
it's been
together.
yeah.
An
We
investigation.
want to start investigating again. Blaine was nice enough
I feel like
to.
somebody needs to take the reins, and I don't want it to be
Somebody
me.
does. We need like a case manager
do.
that like makes us go places.
Well, give us suggestions too. Where
Any
to...
places.
Literally anyone who will have us
Yeah.
come into their building. The asylum. Start with the asylum.
Blaine,
I know, I still
Blaine
wanna
bought
do the
us
asylum.
a spirit box that we want
Yeah.
to try using.
Thanks,
So
Blaine.
crazy.
So we
Did you
wanna-
get it yet?
No, no. But when I'm guessing when we have Blaine come on, he'll probably bring it. But we got to have Blaine on.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant he sent it to our PO box.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But we want to start investigating again. Blaine wants us. They want us to do the Estes
love
method.
that.
So we got to try the
Yes.
Estes method. So we want to get investigating again. We want to record it for you guys. It would be really cool
It'd be
to
fun to do like YouTube videos of
Yes.
investigations.
So we
That
have
would be fun.
we have plans. Whether or not they come to fruition, we will see.
We'd like to talk
We have
about stuff.
dreams.
Yeah, we have
Problem is,
Plans
Kirk goes
and
to bed at
dreams.
6:30.
Yeah, but
7
like we were
o'clock.
saying on the drive down, that's a good thing because I can go to sleep. Something is there. It can use
your
my
energy.
All your energy.
and then I'll be up at 2:00 when you guys want to go to sleep. So then I can continue investigating.
Interesting.
Just
Also,
don't keep us up.
places aren't just haunted at night.
No, that's what
No.
amazes me about
No.
Destination Fear is how much stuff happens to them between 4 and 6 a.m. Because
Yeah,
I'm
it's
up.
those early morning hours.
That's like my good hours where I'm getting ready and driving
witching
to
hour.
work.
Yes.
I'm driving to work at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Well, you've been to the Ohio State Penitentiary.
yeah,
You went, you guys
Yeah.
investigated at night.
yeah.
I've been at the penitentiary
In the
during the
morning.
day and caught evidence.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So if a place
Brittany
is
caught
haunted, it's not
evidence,
just
you know,
haunted
right,
at night. You know,
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we want to get back into investigating. So we're going to see where that goes. Hope you guys enjoyed this two-parter about JFK Prep and St. Nazianz. We love it. You got all our evidence now, so this will be online for anybody that wants to listen to it. If you found us by searching for JFK Prep, welcome. Listen to our rest of our episodes. Join our Facebook Strangers group.
Like, subscribe.
Subscribe.
We never say that
Hit that.
ever.
Hit that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button.
Subscribe button. Oh,
Ugh.
God. That's cringy.
just
I would
puked
never
a
say
little.
that. So Mark and Rhonda, we love you guys. Thank you for coming on.
You guys too. Thank
It's
you.
been since season 2. You were both on together, so we'll
crazy.
try to get you on more often. We
Yeah.
won't wait 5 seasons between.
We
the
have
next
to do a
time.
Stoughton episode.
We have
Yes,
to do a Stoughton
absolutely.
episode. So thank you guys for listening. So from Mark, Krista, Rhonda, and myself from The Strange Cellar. Until next time,
Stay strange.